Hello, YouTube and Universe. Welcome, Scarstorm Productions. I'm your host, Morro, here to bring you everything new on your favorite brands and more. And today, we'll be taking a look at the newest rider, Kamen Rider My-th. Before we begin, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification so you don't miss another video like this. Because maybe a small clip for you guys, but it's a big help for me and the channel. Thank you, and without further ado, let's begin. Now, we got a bit of information to go over. We don't have that much of the toy side, so that'll be its own separate video. But we do have the designs of the characters and a teaser trailer, so I'll go over that. First up here, we have our first poster, and might I say, it looks very nice. Of course, we have our main rider, Kamen Rider My-th, who is a, mouse-based rider, which I say that's a first, I think. I can't really remember any other rider that had that same motif. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments down below. And in this poster, we also get to see two of the, rival riders, that being Ryu and Mao. Ryu being the black cat, and Mao being the red one. And I'd say all three of them look very nice all together. And then we have a couple of the main gimmicks, all along the poster, being the ride eggs, with each of them having counterparts to one another, which I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, it looks very nice. Now, before we talk about the teaser trailer, let's talk about some character designs. First up, of course, we have our main rider, Kamen Rider My-th. And I think he looks good. Looks very similar to a Zet's rider, so I can see why leakers thought it would have been a Zet's rider. But I didn't like it at first, but it really grew on me. I don't know why, but it did. And I love it. And I'll be completely honest, I love it. I love how this design looks. I love how sleek it is. And I like the circle designs on it. It looks very nice, and it will contrast to something I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, for his driver, it goes along the, it's basically like another fanny pack like Zet's was. And I saw some people complaining about it, like, we're getting too many of them, but it's just like, the riders will still have belt drivers in this, yes, but it's just like, we haven't had a sash, like, Zet's was our first ever rider to have a sash. So it's okay to get it another year. That's my point of view, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, it looks very nice. And here's a closer look at the driver. We have a poster that shows it off. And the way it works is basically you press down the buttons, like the orange ones at the bottom. Click the ones over, like the gray buttons on top. Then the egg will hatch. And oh no, it looks like a very good design. Now, let's move on to the next rider, that being Rao. And I have to say, I like the design. It reminds me a lot of Tycoon Bujin's sword. Had a thing in the name. But yeah, it's really given that. And it also reminds me a little bit of Chat Noir from Miraculous Ladybug, surprisingly. I didn't think I would make a miraculous comparison in this video, but I did. But yeah, I honestly love it. I love how bulky it looks, and it looks very nice. Now, here's one important thing that goes along with this rider. With Rao, he uses the same driver as My-th, which is very cool, but there's a different thing with him having a hammer attachment on it, which changes how he transforms, which I wonder how it looks in action. And another thing you'll notice is, instead of it having a mice in the center with a blue background, it has a cat with a red background on it. So yeah, very cool, and I love how they basically use similar, they use the same egg to transform, which is blowing my mind a little bit. I love it, honestly. Which I'll also talk about another character that looks similar to this when we talk about the trailer. And now let's move on to our final rider character, that being Kamen Rider Mao. And might I say, Mao has to have my favorite design out of the three riders that we've seen so far. I just love how it reminds me a ton of Jin's Burning Falcon. Yeah, that's what it is. And honestly, we've already kind of seen this before in this set photo right here, which, yeah, this was leaked in April, I think. So actually getting to see the suit now, that is just cool. I love how jagged and pointy it is as well. It looks feral, which I expect from our rival rider, essentially. And yeah, I very much like it. And for his driver, it is called the Mao driver, basically named after himself. And it uses a similar egg to both My-th and Rao, but instead of it having the silver casing around it, it has red casing and a flame where the cat's supposed to be. And I like it, but the Mao driver just looks like a huge fidget toy, and someone with ADHD and a little of the autism. Yeah, that's my personal preference right there. I like that. I like it a lot, actually. And yeah, I cannot wait to get my hands on all three of these drivers. They look amazing, and I want them so bad. But that's really it for the characters. Let's take a look at both of the teaser trailers that we got. For the first one, it's nothing really substantial, but we get to see a sort of different things. For one, we get to see what My-th's weapon looks like, which looks like a huge mouse ear. So, that's an interesting weapon, and it seems to be a light-based sword. By that, I mean the sword is made out of light, like a lightsaber. And in the next scene, we have that other character I was talking about, being an ancient version of Mice. And I'd say I like this design. It's basically a kit bash between Mice and Rao. And I absolutely love it. But one thing you'll notice later on, it has a blue version of the egg that Mice has in the present. So will it do a Kiva thing and just go back and forth between the future for some scenes? If so, that would be very cool. But yeah, he starts off with a blue My-th ride egg. I was about to say My-th egg. And it turns pink as it goes to the present version of Mice. And one thing I do find really interesting is that the cat part and the mice part actually swap between present and future. So I wonder what the implications of that's going to be. Then it shows how he uses his driver to transform. Then it shows him going against the two cat riders. And it ends with Mice fighting Mao. And I don't know, that's a pretty good first teaser trailer. Then we go to our second teaser trailer, which tells and shows us a lot. For the first half, the first couple seconds of the trailer, it just shows a couple scenes from Mice. The first one being him doing the action pose. The second is him fighting one of his monsters, which I have to say, I love the character design of the monster. I don't know what type of monster it's going to be, like what it's based off of, but I like it. I like the little feathers it has coming down its head. So, can't wait to see more of that. Then in the next scene, we actually see what we've been considering the ancient Mice fighting Mao. So the implications of that are huge, if I'm being completely honest. Then we get to see two more shots of Mice, and the more I keep seeing it, the more I love the suit. And then we finish off the little part with us seeing the rider machine form. And honestly, this has to be one of my favorite rider machines. I love how it looks. The blue and yellow go perfect together, and I cannot tell what type of motorcycle that is, but it just looks very cool. But that's it for the stuff for the show. But for this teaser trailer, we actually get to meet our actors and the producers for it. Now, let's start off with the producers who brought this all together for us. First up, we have the pilot director, Shojiro Nakazawa, who's known for writing one episode of Mirai Sentai Time Ranger, but he mainly has been a director for a ton of other things, being Kamen Rider Gab, Kamen Rider Geats, Osama Sentai King Oger, Bakura Sentai Boom Boomgers, and our last Super Sentai, number 1 Sentai Gojujers. And I personally love his work. Now, for our producer of the show, we have Naomi Takeba. I don't know if I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Who's produced Kamen Rider Gaim, Shuriken Sentai Ninjas, Kamen Rider G.O.,
and Kamen Rider Decade. So, she's going to be good when it comes to this. And for our other producer, we have Yosuke Minato, who was the producer for Kamen Rider Gotchard, Kamen Rider 01, and our latest Kamen Rider Zets. And for the final person that wasn't a cast member, we have the action director, Satoshi Fujita, who's known for his work in Kamen Rider Saber, Kamen Rider Outsiders, and Kamen Rider X-Aid. And all in all, the producer spots are filled to the brim with some amazing people, and I cannot wait to see what they do. Now that's it for all of our producers. Let's talk about our cast, which we get to meet 3 members for right now. And for our first cast member, we have Iko Akaya. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but he plays Sora Atsumi, who is Kamen Rider My-th. And yeah, I think he's a good fit for the actor. So basically, Kamen Rider My-th is not your conventional hero. He doesn't fight for a conventional form of justice. That's what the actor said. And he's also the butler to the next character, that being Yuno Mitsuki, who is played by Riko Harakawa, who is our Rider Girl for the season. If you don't know what a Rider Girl is, that's basically the female lead in Kamen Rider. And yeah, good picks. Here's a shot of what they look like in their costumes with one another. And it looks like Yuno has more of a... Yuna. I said Yuno. Yuna... Oh, that's gonna mess me up. Has more of a uniform outfit, while Sora has, this outfit. But one thing I do like, under his jacket, his shirt looks like a block of cheese, so that's pretty cool. And then we move on to our next character, and we have Keisuke Hiragoshi, and he is playing Kuruma Minataka, who is Kamen Rider Mao. And before we actually saw him, we got to see what his weapon will be, and it's a sword gun. And as someone who loves sword guns as a concept because of the rule of cool, that's definitely going to be my favorite weapon. I'm going to try to get it. Also, can we talk about his fit for this? Because let me just say, pimp down. Because that is just clean. And obviously, he'll serve as one of the villains. And I just love his design so much. And they said they wanted someone who could seem mysterious yet kind. So I want to see what that actually looks like in practice. But oh no, that's all we really saw in the trailer. But now, since we got all that done, let's talk about the gimmick. That being the ride eggs. And I can't really think about a good comparison about these. They're a completely new kind of concept, and I absolutely adore them. And yes, I have the poster back up because that's where we see a majority of ride eggs. First up, the pink one, which is one we already said when we talked about the characters. That being the mouse and the cat, which goes to Kamen Rider My-th and Rao. And please correct me if I'm saying his name wrong. But now going to the other ride eggs on here, we have the yellow one, being the tiger and orca, which is a very interesting pairing. Then we have the blue one, which is meant to represent a rabbit and tortoise. So, slow and steady wins the race. For the white one, it represents the sheep and the wolf. And finally, we have the purple one, which represents the dog and eagle. And if you couldn't tell so far, some of these animals are actually on the Chinese zodiac. So, obviously, this will play into the design of the characters, because My-th is actually based off of the zodiac. Now, each ride egg is also marked with the number 1 to 14, so I wonder how many riders are going to be in this show to represent each one. And then again, since each ride egg has 2 avatars, that means we could get up to 28 characters. So that's an interesting thought. But other than that, that's really it for the ride eggs. And so far, I'm honestly enjoying everything I've seen for Kamen Rider My so far. I just want to know, what do you guys think about it? Do you like it? Do you not? Are you skeptical still? Let me know in the comments down below. And if that's everything, I hope you all enjoyed the video. And if that's all, that's a wrap. Fade to black. Thanks for watching, you guys.